Okay, let's try it again. Alright, so got my little stool. Maybe I need a bigger stool. I don't know. A little crazy. Alright, but let's start at the beginning. Okay, so a couple of years ago, I got a job at a photography studio, and I had worked at one before for a couple of years and really didn't get the training in photography that I was hoping to get. So after that job ended, scrambled a little bit, I found this job, and I thought, oh hey, this is a smaller studio, you know, they do a lot more stuff there, so maybe I'm gonna get an education. This would be awesome, you know, because I really would like to get better at photography. So it turns out, you know, there's only 2 of us working there, and the other girl who just hired on about a month before me, so the 2 of us, you know, we're in the learning curve trying to learn all the programming and all this kind of stuff. And this chick is awesome. She is smart, ambitious, and knows her stuff. And I gotta tell you, I learned more from my gal Patty in the time I was there than I would have learned from the numbnut I worked for 10 years. I mean, seriously, this dude was not into it and had no skills. And the best thing that we learned from that job was how not to run a business. That's pretty crazy. So the long and the short of it is, at some point, all right, so like I started Loretta here, and it was going really well, and then we had to move the studio, and this took up a lot of brain power and a lot of time, and so we got busy with that, and we moved into another location even farther away from where I lived, and hell, we weren't even there about a month or whatever, and the dude's wife decides that she's going to get hands-on with this new location, and what's the word I'm looking for? We had a, not even, I was going to say clash of wills, but that's not it. My style was different than her style. I think she perceived me as a threat. But anyway, needless to say, boom, next thing you know, I didn't have a job. And when somebody decides that they're going to let you go, most of the time, or I should say a lot of the times, it's not you, it's them. There's a personality conflict, there's something going on, maybe they think that you're so good that you're going to take their job, or maybe they want your job, or whatever the reason is, they're going to get rid of you, regardless of how good you are. I mean, some of us, we're not meant to take that particular job, and we kind of suck at it, so at some point they're going to go, okay, we tried it, it doesn't work, you need to go. But in this case, you know, I was doing really well there, but she wasn't having it, so he had no choice but to let me go. Now, the reason I'm telling you all this is because, you know, it could have been sad. It could have been, well, I was a little pissy about it, but the point I'm trying to make is that you're always going to lose something, and your attitude about that loss is going to change everything. It's either going to be a good experience or it's going to be a bad experience. And I can sit here and tell you, slightly embarrassed, that I have probably lost as many jobs as I have fingers. Oh yeah. I've been fired quite a few times. Part of it has to do with I can never keep my mouth shut, but that's, I don't know if that's a personality flaw or a plus. But it does get me into hot water more often than not. So there's a few things I'm going to tell you about losing a job or getting a job or even keeping a job. One, try to make sure that your skill set matches the job you're going for. I mean, you can always be a little below, but not enough so that once you get there, they're like, holy cow. You know, this person doesn't know how to do half of what they said they know how to do. Because in the end, you're going to lose that job. So if you're really into, you know, changing your job every 3 months, and that's a perfect way to do it. Otherwise, make sure that you know, or be true in what you're stating, you have the ability to do. Okay? The job I'm at now, we have a lot of people that come and go. It's a big company, and it's not always the perfect fit for everybody. And you know, one of the things I hear the most is, "Ooh, you know, they interviewed really well." Well, but you know, theory is not the same as practice. So another point I like to make is once you get that job and you're trying to figure out what the culture is of this new place that you work at, keep your mouth shut. Do not speak unless somebody talks to you first. Because inevitably, you're going to put your foot in it. You're going to say something or you're going to do something, and now you've created a problem that you wouldn't have had if you just kept your mouth shut and laid low. So the first thing you do when you get a new job is look at what's going on around you. Be very observant, jot notes even, but don't say anything. Don't get into conversations. Don't say, "Oh yeah, well when I..." No, none of that. Just stand there and listen. Play dumb. Because you're on recon. You're here trying to figure out what's going on here. And you need to know who the big dogs are and who the little dogs are, who the players are, who has the ability to teach you something and move you forward, and who's going to knock you on your ass, who's going to take you out. Because that's what it is. That's what it all is. I've said more than a few times, when you graduate high school, you think, "Oh yeah, now I'm going to be in the big leagues. Now I'm in the real world. Things are going to be different. There's not going to be, you know, popularity contests, and there's not going to be, you know, this clique and that clique." Au contraire, mon cher. Oh hell yes. I'm here to tell you that real world is just like high school. Only you never graduate. It's the same crap. There's, you know, the A team, the B team, the popular kids, the nerdy kids, the kids you want to hang out with, the kids that you're shunning. It never changes. It doesn't change. So if you didn't learn how to navigate that when you were in high school, you better get on it now. Because it doesn't change. You know, this job I'm at now, this is one old broad. She's been there since the beginning of the century. I mean, I didn't think anybody nowadays stayed at a job that long. She's such a sourpuss. The woman never smiles. And I gotta tell you that she did not speak to me, nor if I pass her in the hall would she look at me for at least 3 months. It was crazy. But she got some power. So what would I have gained by pissing her off or being snotty or snippy? You know, wasn't going to gain anything. So this is what I'm telling you. Watch what's going on. Know who's in control. Know who can take you out. Keep your mouth shut. But most of all, go in knowing you know how to do that job and do it to the best of your ability. There's always time when you can slack off later, because you know we all do. Nobody's in there giving it 110% because it ain't worth it. You don't want to give your blood. It's bad enough you got to give tears and some sweat. Anyway, more about that later. So that's what I have to say about that job. And now I have this job, and you know, it's a job. So on that note, I will say goodbye and see you next time for a little chat. Thanks for visiting. Bye.